Prescription drug abuse is currently the highest addictive situation that we're dealing with in Huntington County. Just in 2013, there were 8 prescription drug related or overdose related deaths in our county, which is actually down from 2012, which there was 11 prescription drug related deaths in our county. Back in 2007, the number of prescription drug overdose deaths was 22,400 in the entire United States, and approximately 38% of those were related to prescription drugs. So slightly over 8,500 of those were related to prescription drug abuse in the United States.
We have had a tremendous increase in the abuse of prescriptions written by physicians, but also teenagers, kids, adults are buying drugs off the street. That's a big problem also. But Indiana is about 12th in the nation in abuse of drug prescriptions.
Youth ages 12 to 17 in the United States, about 4.4 million kids every single year begin abusing prescription drugs, mainly painkillers such as Vicodin, Oxycontin, things of that nature, but it also goes into prescription drugs such as Ritalin, which is a stimulant, and other categories like Xanax, which is an antidepressant.
Obviously, if you're taking prescription drugs, and whether you're taking them how you're supposed to be or not, if you're doing them illegally or prescription-wise, it says right there on the bottle not to mix them with alcohol. Prescription drugs is one of the most dangerous things that we find with alcohol, and what generally happens is 2 or 3 pills that you take to make you feel good, then you mix the alcohol with it, whether you drink the alcohol before or the alcohol after. And what generally happens is you get tired, you get sleepy, you go to sleep. Well, your heart is still pounding. Your heart's still racing from the drugs, and it causes your heart then to just, overdo it. Your heart stops beating, and then you die.
Well, I can say that approximately 2,500 youth between the ages of 12 to 17 begin using prescription drugs every single day in the United States. To me, that's a big number. If you multiply that times 365, that's an incredible amount of kids that are stepping out and starting to use prescription drugs.
I've seen several kids here at the high school, Huntington North specifically, that start out freshman, sophomore year, average AB student, occasional C student, and junior year you notice that the A's and the B's become C's, then become D's and F's. So they might finish their 5th semester with mostly D's and F's. At that point, that's kind of an alert that something different is going on in their life, and so many times you can attribute that to family changes, or you can attribute that to changes within the student's social activities. So the student that had come in with goals of going to college, of having a specific career in mind, did great the first 2 years, got sidetracked by some alcohol or some drugs, and so their goals now are changing. Their goals to get to college have now become goals of when's my next beer, when's my next drug.
All drugs in Indiana are classified by scheduling, Schedule 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5. Most of your opioids and things of that nature are scheduled as a very severe, highly addictive drug. A lot of your prescription drugs are also classified in Schedule 1 or 2. Schedules 1 and 2 are the most strictly enforced in the state of Indiana, as also in most states. Dealing in those drugs carry severe penalties. Dealing in a Schedule 1 or 2 drug within 1,000 feet of a school, a park, or a youth program center, there's also some other enhancements. It's actually in Class A felony, which could carry a sentence of 20 to 50 years.
Awareness, I think, is critical. And I know the schools are busy. I know you get tests to take, but if you just take 30 seconds of class, just a little bit, to teach fellow students about good health habits, I think it's critical. And don't just sit there and watch the major sport games. Participate in them yourself, I think, would be a great thing to do.
In 2007, the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration, found that there were over 1,000 overdose deaths from fentanyl. And fentanyl is a prescription drug, either given in a patch that that people wear for pain reduction, but that drug itself is 30 to 50 times more powerful than heroin.
Don't think that you can smoke or take a narcotic for a week or a month. It's just not going to happen. So don't take the drugs of grandma at home. A lot of this is where kids are stealing the medications from their relatives. It's dangerous and it's illegal.
Prescription medications, I think the thought process, at least for children or young people, I won't say children, but for young people, is number one, they're fairly easy to obtain. Almost everyone has access to prescription medication in their medicine cabinet at home. Number two, most people feel that using a prescription medication is safer than using an illegal drug, such as cocaine or methamphetamine that you have to buy off the street. That going and getting a Vicodin or getting a Xanax from someone is a lot safer because they know what the ingredients are. And I think there's a trend set now that it's okay to use prescription drugs to maintain your level of pain, to keep your pain down, or to keep a level head. And that's our society has reverted to using medications to control certain afflictions.
You know, the best way that you can get involved in help this whole problem is be a role model. First of all. Second of all, if you do identify a problem and see a problem, I'm not saying you have to run to law enforcement. You don't have to. Everybody associates that with somebody being thrown in jail immediately. That, you know, compliance is all we're after, and keeping people safe. So if you see something like that, you know, talk to your mom, talk to your dad, talk to a parent, talk to your pastor at your church, talk to your school counselor. You know, help identify it and help that problem instead of just ignoring it. So that's the best thing we can do.